fantasy basketball. We're in week 16. We have the must adds to win your fantasy matchup. And so I'm really excited because I have some sleepers, maybe some people that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I should go ahead and pick them up. Now again, the way I do it, I don't always do like the what's it called? Like I don't always do 5 to 1. Like so when you see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's not like I'm ordering in my head like, oh, this is the top five and this is the number one, but it's just a way to just keep it in order, right? So again, there's no way I think one player is better than the other player, etc. When I'm doing this, it's just for you to see your possible options if they're on your waiver wire. It's very possible that they're being slept on and they have not yet been picked up, or you've been eyeing them and you're like, I'm not sure. So here I am giving you my top 5 must adds to win your fantasy matchup. Starting at number 5, we got Corey Kispert. Okay, Corey just got traded. He was traded to the Hawks in that Trae Young, CJ McCollum deal. So he was on the Wizards, and the Wizards utilized Corey. He was definitely off the bench. Sometimes he wasn't first off the bench. Sometimes he was in that third unit. And so him now being on the Hawks in the games that he's played, he's pretty much doing the same thing, filling the same shoes. And I noticed with the Hawks when Jalen Johnson isn't playing, for example, recently, it was Corey Kispert that ticket was punched, and he's a small forward and a shooting guard, and he still has good length on him, but he's primarily brought in as a shooter for sure. He comes in, can shoot the ball, he guards okay, and he's not really like a ball handler, but he'll run the floor if the team wants to run the floor. So Corey Kispert averaging 9.3 points per game, 1.6 assists. He makes 1.6 threes per game, and as a fantasy streamer, if you get 3 to 4 points for a person making threes, I would consider grabbing Corey this week because his minutes are probably going to continue to stay right around that 20 or so range, and he could at most get you 30 fantasy points at most, and then at least he'll get you 2. So it's really a wild card, and go for it if you want, but it's not a reliable person to keep for the whole entire week. Okay. Again, this is must adds, my top 5 must adds for week 16. Go ahead and grab Misi. All right. He's on the Pelicans. What I love about Misi and his value is although he'll grab you a lot of boards, there's some nights he could possibly get a double-double. He can maybe hit 10 points and get he recently had 14 rebounds. So he's good for boards, but he's mainly good for blocks. He's averaging 1.4 blocks. And again, depending on how your fantasy league has their points, typically if you go by the default standard, blocks are worth 5 points. And so that's how if you have Wemby, if you have a Misi, all right, he's going to defensively give you a lot of value. And with Zion always questionable, and then they still have Derek Queen and things like that, don't get me wrong, but Misi still plays a good amount of minutes for them, and he's going to give you some value. And his past 15 days have been great. He's been hooping. So really consider adding Misi to your team if he's out there on the waiver wire. Okay, let's keep going. So we've had Corey Kispert and Misi. So now we're going to go to number 3. Now, again, this is in no particular order because honestly, Caleb Martin can go 5th. I'm not sitting here saying Caleb has fell way off. I'm just the Martin brothers, period, have fell off. But recently, what I've noticed with this Mavs team who are struggling with injuries, we had Marshall, who actually might be returning. So Caleb's numbers could possibly go back down. But then I saw PJ Washington is hurt as well. So I noticed when those guys are hurt, Caleb Martin is who they go to. And so I want to keep in mind, though, these stats are for his last 7 games, not his season stats. He's had an awful season. He is not even, they barely played. He was hurt and he's barely played. But I do believe he could see an uptick in minutes if they continue to have injury issues. Yes, I see a comment. It says Caleb is garbage. I agree. I'm not sitting here saying this man is great for your fantasy, but when he could get you at least 25, if you need someone and you down bad and you just want to make sure you add a little more points to your game, to your team this week, just go ahead and grab Caleb because it wouldn't hurt. Now, as we get a little later in the season, I don't even think he's going to see the floor. But, this is just for this week. Next on the block, I'm going to definitely say Dominic Barlow. Very important that you grab Dominic Barlow considering Paul George and him being out. And they used Dominic is who they go to. Even though he is a power forward and a center, they primarily use him on a wing or to be their rim protector or when they want to go small or they have to go small. They will literally put Dominic Barlow in as a starter and shift and do like a 5 out, have Joel 5 out or 4 out, 1 in. They'll put him in there, but they'll put him in before they put Andre Drummond in. You feel what I'm saying? And they'll sometimes let him take a 3, but he's just primarily in there for height. And because he can either guard a big or he can guard a forward. So he is very advantageous to this team. So I definitely highly recommend you pick up Dominic Barlow if you haven't already. 7.9 points, the 4.8 rebounds, and the 23.6 minutes. Trust me, that's going to go up. And then finally, my last sleeper pick, if you haven't already jumped on it last week, make sure you jump on him this week. It's Jarris Walker for the Pacers. And I love Jarris Walker because he is a great two-way player option. His game is pretty solid. And so, again, this is no particular order, but I do recommend picking up Jarris. What's up, Vic? Glad to see you. Welcome to the chat. Just again, going through the top 5 fantasy must-adds. I'm going to run through the 5 just real quick one more time. We got Corey Kispert with the Hawks, Messi with the Pelicans, Caleb Martin on the Mavs, Dominic Barlow with the Sixers, and then go ahead and grab Jarris Walker with the Pacers. Again, these are not people that are going to help you super win, but if you have someone hurt or you got Dominic Barlow and Jarris are probably the top 2 I'd say grab and consider holding on to them for a while. Everybody else is like, yeah, they might be good for this week, next week, every other week.